Hello, Brian. My name is Mrs. Schufert, and I am so glad to be working with you today. We're going to be taking a look at your math scores and having some fun hands-on activities and games to help us understand those more. If we take a look here at your results, the biggest point I want you to see is how much of a growth you made from the fall and winter testing. You went from a 187 to a 194, and that is awesome progress over such a short amount of time. When we break that down even more, we see that you did your best area was algebraic reasoning and algebra. You know patterns, you can see that visual aspect, and that's something that we're really going to use to help us understand this geometry that maybe we need a little bit more help in. And so what we're going to do today is look at telling time and telling time in multiples of 5, which is incredibly important because everything we do runs on knowing what time it is. What time do you get up? What time do you eat breakfast? When do you watch your favorite television show? When do you have dinner? So we're going to look at telling time in a couple of different ways. We, of course, have our interactive notebooks where we take all of our lesson ideas, all of our notes, and then we have our student output of showing our teachers what we've learned. Inside of our notebooks, what we're going to look at today is creating our clock. And this clock allows us to move the hands in order to create the times that we want to work with. And this is a great visual that we can use over and over again. What we're also going to do is read a really great book about minutes, seconds. It's going to give us all of the information that we want, kind of to break it down for us. How do we tell time? Is it in seconds? Is it in minutes, a week, a day? What is that about? We'll watch a short YouTube video that also tells us how to tell time in 5-minute intervals and what it looks like when the clock moves. With that, we're going to create, using painter's tape, a large clock on the floor that we are actually going to jump from place to place. So we're going to label it together. We're going to be able to really know how those minutes progress. After that, we'll work on a couple of different games. We've got our task cards to help us identify. We'll look at what time is this in the analog version, and then we'll take it over to the digital. And what we want to do with the digital is really work to understand if it looks like a certain time, how does that move from an analog to a digital? And there's this awesome website that we can use, and this actually allows you to move the hands here on an analog clock, and then up in the corner it tells you what kind of digital time it is. And so this is a starting place that we will look at. How do we transfer that information? Lastly, what we'll do is we're going to take all of that information after we've compared our digital and analog in times. I'm going to do a quick worksheet. So if this is saying that you work at 8:30 in the morning, how does that look in the digital? And once we've done all that, we of course want to be able to solve a word problem with it. And we've got more games. We've got some bingo. We've got some more cards to help us, task cards that we'll read through together and solve those problems. And what we'll do with our giant floor clock is we'll go forward or backwards depending on if we're adding or subtracting time. And of course you'll have your assessment at the end to see overall how you did during this time. So I'm really excited to work with you, Brian, and I think we'll have a great time.